It's only a couple of miles from downtown Minneapolis to the tower blocks of what they call Little Mogadishu, the home to America's largest Somali community and the focus of the biggest domestic terrorism investigation since 9/11. Abdirazak Bihi has painful experience of why. It was here that his nephew was radicalized and recruited by Islamist extremists before dying in Somalia. Burhan Hassan is one of perhaps 40 young men who've made the journey from Minneapolis to join the Al-Qaeda affiliate Al-Shabaab.
Al-Qaeda is always very creative. They were creative with the disaster of 9/11. They're also creative going into African communities, like my community, who's Muslim, and poor communities, that nobody ever suspected of this, and take advantage of it.
His fear, and that of the US government, is that they go one step further.
By recruiting young refugees and taking them back to Somalia and training them with this mindset and sending them back here without anybody knowing it, it's very, very visible that they can attack Alaska and Washington and New York and London and anywhere they want.
Like him, the police in Minneapolis are trying to get to those young men first. Outreach, they say, is working.
Some people in the community may recognize these signs much earlier than we're going to as law enforcement. And so the hope is that people will feel enough trust to come and say something rather than being afraid, not telling anybody.
Thank you for the focus on radicalization in the first hearing. And
the threat of this homegrown terrorism prompted hearings on Capitol and another new national strategy on combating radicalization. Senior Somali officials say it's not enough.
If a young guy with the American passport is able to go back to Somalia and blow himself up, we haven't seen anything that would prevent from that person or his friend coming back and blowing up himself here.
And our goal is to promote common sense.
In a suburban home, Mohammed Amin Ahmed is leading another private fight back. His leaflets and videos playing Al-Shabaab at their own propaganda game. Something, he says, only the community itself can do.
If someone can come out here and logically state out a plan, then we too need to set up logically and methodically a plan for moderation. Now, if I can't compete, if I can't change your mind, I'll plant a seed of doubt in your mind.
Little Mogadishu has a new football pitch, part of tackling alienation and lack of opportunity that can make young men vulnerable. It will take more than that to counter the threat of jihad from the Midwest and the fear that if they don't get it right, another 9/11 could come from within. Greg Milam, Sky News, Minneapolis.